Welcome to Christy's Cropping and Creating. I have a fun little border to teach you this evening. Earlier this week, I did a sketch, a blog sketch in my weekly class using the Vivid Melodies Capri Blue papers. So this is from one of the blog post sketches, and this is what I taught in my weekly class this week. And I have this paper left over from that class, and I saw a border using some tropical papers or some summer papers. This is also from a blog sketch, or excuse me, not a blog sketch, but a sketch booklet. If you don't have a Creative Memories advisor, I can help you get one of these neat little sketchbooks. We have a new one each quarter. This is the one for the second quarter of 2023. And on the back is a border sketch. And I liked this Paradise sketch, and they use Tropic Time papers and the Monstera Leaves Border Punch. Well, I like this, but I wanted to use my floral papers that were left over from my class. And so I was like, I think I can make this work. So I'm literally just going to use some scraps from that. And, this is Waves. And, I don't have a title on here yet. Like, they have Paradise on here, and they've got the little embellishments. Well, this is my sample. I wanted to make it in the green florals because I also taught a class using the green florals. It's called Vivid Melodies Lime Tart paper collection and embellishments and such. Well, anyway, so for these pages, the page sketch, and then for this border, quite honestly, I might end up using it from when we went to how when you go to Disney World, there's all these beautiful gardens everywhere. And we've actually been there at least once when the flower festival was going on. So I thought this might look good for when I'm doing pages like that, in some sort of garden or whatever. And the neat thing about using scraps of paper that are left over from here, so let's say I've got a double page spread, and then maybe I have a few more pictures. Well, I'm going to have a border, just pretend like this is already the blue one. So I'll be able to continue on in my album using the same papers. So that'll give a continuity going from, the previous pages over to the next ones. So we're going to make this quick border. It should be really quick. And you've got some approximate measurements on this sketch, but honestly, I just kind of winged it on my sample border, and I know about how wide I like for things to be in the end. I'm not a fan of really, really chunky borders. I like for them to be a little bit skinnier, so more like 2.5 to 3 inches total is what I like. So I'm going to cut my base, which is, in this case, it's going to be this baby blue. I'm going to use my trimmer. And I'm going to cut this at, I believe it was 2 inches. Of course, I didn't write anything down because I was just kind of winging it. So I'm going to cut this down to 2 inches. And if you do want to make yours a little bit thicker, you could. But I'm just going to start at 2 inches. And then I'm going to take an older tool that we have. It's the decorative trimmer. And mine is the original Creative Memories sapphire color. Yours is probably white, a white color trimmer, but I'm just going to just go ahead and use mine. There's nothing wrong with it, so I just keep using it. And let me also point out, now I've got this very thin scrap left over, so I'm going to have to be careful cutting it. But what you want to do when you're using this, in order to get these waves to be the same from the top of the 12-inch border to the bottom of the 12-inch border, you want your waves equally spaced. So I'm going to start at this 1/4 inch line. Actually, that might be 1/8 of an inch. Let me double check that since I'm actually telling you measurements. Well, you know what? I don't know if it's 1/8 No, it should be a quarter. So it's this first notch down from the top, and then I'll also have it even with this first notch up from the bottom. So instead of putting it straight flush across the top, I'm going to have it come down to that next mark. And I'm honestly going to slide this over. I want both ends of this piece of paper to be wavy. So I'm going to have to cut off some so that then I can make it the right size. And this is what I mean. This paper is going to end up being this border. So it's going to end up being about 1/2 inch thick, but I want it wavy on the top and the bottom. You know, I don't want it straight across the bottom like this one is. So that's why I'm going to have to do this first trim. So all you need to do for this first trim is just slide it over far enough so that the wales, the swells, the wales are covered, and cut that off. And Lord, I hope this works since I didn't measure it to begin with. So this is hopefully going to be a scrap, and hopefully this is going to be wide enough to cut the other end to get me to that 1/2 inch mark. And actually it is just wide enough. Boy, how fortunate is that, since I didn't try this ahead of time. I mean, it is exactly wide enough to make this next cut. So this second cut, I'm bringing the end up here to the 1/2 inch line, and also down here. And again, I'm not starting with it flush at the bottom, nor is it flush at the top. It's one of those notches in from either end. If you're looking at your trimmer, that will make a little bit more sense to you than if you're not. Oh, and I am going to have to be careful to not cut my paper since it's so narrow. My next piece that I cut is not going to be that narrow in the end. So this is my second piece, and it's going to go down here, which actually it'll make more sense where that goes when I'm finished cutting the top piece as well. And then these two pieces that were straight on the ends, they're scrap. You can save them or you can toss them to use on a different project, whatever floats your boat for there. So this pretty pansy floral blue paper is the next one I'm going to use. And I'm going to do that same, I'm going to repeat that same thing. Like, I only want to come in far enough to cut off the straight edge of this paper. And I'm, again, I'm starting not quite at the top and not quite at the bottom so that I get these swells equally spaced. And then I'm going to cut off that straight edge. And for this piece, I'm actually going to make it wider than a 1/2 inch. I'm going to hold this up and hopefully I can show you. I'm going to go, this was the 1/2 inch mark right here. So I'm going to go all the way over to the 3/4. So it's 2 little clicks before the 1 inch mark. So I'm calling that 3/4 inch. It probably is 3/4 of an inch, but I don't really know for sure. So you want the bottom, the starting point of your paper at that 3/4 mark, and then just make sure your paper's straight. So this one will have a little more thickness to it. And again, I'm going to cut. So I have another wave. And what I'm going to do next, let me move some things out of the way here. The way I put this together is I started with my top one and I stuck it to the front of my base of my border, the cardstock base. And I literally had it up as high as I could go. Actually, maybe I should say as low as I could go, so that the dip in the swell would cover the top of the of the cardstock. Let me turn it to the back. So see, this is what it looks like from the back. I've just barely got those swells coming above, and then right here where the dip is meets the edge of the cardstock. So that way it looks like the entire border has the wavy shape to it, when in reality it doesn't. It's still very much a rectangle on the back. Okay, so I'm going to put this piece down first, and then that will help us put our next piece down to go on the more towards the bottom. And then I hope I don't forget to show y'all a variation of this border that I created copying this blog. I keep trying to say blog post. It's not a blog post. It's a sketchbook. But I do want to show you another variation. I do like it with the, of course, with the tropical papers or with Sweet Summer, because let's face it, a lot of your summer activities involve water, and I'm having trouble getting this straight for some reason. It keeps grabbing on my paper and not wanting to be straight across my border. That's why I love repositionable tape, is because when it tries to grab and it's not quite right, I can keep fixing it. Okay, so there we go. Finally got it straight, laying straight. So this one, I'm going to come about 1/2 inch below that, and that's where I'm going to adhere this down. Now, if you want to close that in a little bit tighter, actually, I might want to close it in a little tighter. If I do, it gives me a little more space in terms of if I am going to put some sticker letters down there to spell out Flower Festival or whatever it might be that I would end up spelling out. So you might want to go a little bit tighter. With this green one, I did come down about 1/2 inch, and y'all just bear with me if you can't see something when I'm putting my adhesive on over here on this silicone mat. Y'all just bear with me. So we'll start at the end. So I'm gonna say I'm closer, probably more than me and my scrapbooking measurements. I'm closer than 1/2 inch, but more than 1/4 inch. Let me get that in to stick down a little bit better. Okay, so I know I don't have enough of this leftover blue paper. Actually, yes, I would, because it's this other blue. Let me show you what I ended up cutting out with this green sample. I thought I wanted to use it this way, and then I changed my mind again, but I cut a second 3/4 inch strip because at one point I wanted to come along the bottom like this. But then I decided that was really busy, and so I just wasn't quite as sure about it. So I did leave it unadhered, but I also wanted to show y'all, if you do want it wavy at the top and the bottom, just cut an extra strip. And in this case, I think you would stick it to the back of it, but let's see what it would look like. I didn't check it this way. If I wanted to come along the front, oh, that makes it kind of almost look like a flag. Wouldn't this be cool in red, white, and blue, or whatever your school's colors are, to make more like a flag? So there's an option. Actually, I do kind of like this, but I'm not gonna take the time right now to cut an additional strip, but it would be out of this pansy paper. At first I was thinking it was out of this this micro flower paper, but since it's not, I do have enough. If I want to cut another one to go down there like that, I can. So anyway, see how quick that was though? I just used the scraps that I had left over. I even showed you a variation just now with adding the extra layer along the bottom. And again, I can come back in here and I can put a title and some other embellishments with whatever might be going with what the pages end up being used for. And there you've got something quick to go from your previous pages on to the next pages. Technically, I mean, this is strong enough that it could even stand on its own. And of course, you could make two of them to go. Now, just imagine that these are the same colors, but you can have your left-hand page and your right-hand page and go like that. So there is a quick idea for you. Again, it is from the sketch booklet that your advisor can get for you. And if you're looking for an advisor, I would love to help you. You can order from my website at creativememories.com/user/kristibolin. Kristi is spelled Kristi. Bolin is spelled Bolin. And my email address, if you need to reach me for any reason, it is kristibolin@gmail.com. Again, that's kristibolin@gmail.com. And I love being an advisor. I love helping people with their memories. I do teach a weekly class. It's a subscription class, and if you're interested in joining that, you can let me know. It is $25 per quarter, and all the classes are recorded, and so you can watch them at your convenience, or you can be on with us live as we're creating. You can even create with me as I'm teaching the class, because I do give you a supply list ahead of time, and I show you the design ahead of time, that kind of thing. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, if you want to be an advisor, it's really fun. It's really easy. And you can earn a discount on the products that you would be using anyway for your pages. And then you can get things like this on your own. You don't have to rely on getting it from somebody else. And if you would like to host a beginner class, I would love to help you with that too. I can teach the class over Zoom from anywhere in the country, or of course we could meet in person at a restaurant or your house or whatever, wherever you would want to host. And I do offer gifts to people that host for me. So let me know if you're interested in any of these opportunities. And I hope y'all have a great evening and enjoy your summer and all of that. So, all right, take care. Again, thank you for joining me to watch Kristi's Cropping and Creating.